welcome to our last session of our community day. Thank you, Sanjay Martha, for joining us. A very quick introduction. Sanjay Martha is an information security and enterprise risk professional, and he has held various positions responsibility with large global corporations such as Visa, KPMG, KLA Plus, as well as successfully operate his own consulting advisory business. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, same here. Same here.
So Sanjay.
All right. Yeah. Yes, you can hear me, Tina, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. I'm so excited to be with you guys. I can see that there are about 12 or 13 people already. So should we start?
Yes, please go ahead. I will let people in.
All right. So yeah, I can't see you guys, but I know that you guys are there. I can see your names on the screen. So welcome. We are going to discuss today how to identify online scams and how to be vigilant and make sure that we don't come under the trap of any scam. So it's a big topic, but I think I have got half an hour with me, so we can have some of my slides. And if you guys have any questions and anything that you want to ask me, you can just stop me, raise a hand, or send a note in the chat, and we can have a discussion around it. Let me just go through my first slide. And okay. So I hope you can see my slide. It says that the World Wide Web is more complex than the physical world. And it's a statement of truth. I mean, we all know that the online or World Wide Web, as we know it, WWW, is a complex space of websites, of e-commerce and mobile, computing, as well as, telecom, and everything else that goes around that. So social media and so on. So it's a very complex world. It's like any other marketplace or bazaar. But it is very similar to physical world in the sense that there's one big difference. You can say that you can't see the person on the other side. And if you see it, the guy may be able to camouflage. But other than that, it is just like being in the physical world. So my 2 cents theory is that whatever was applicable in the physical world, as far as the safety and security is concerned, should be easily, transferable to the online world. That's my hypothesis. And going by that, I have collected some material around that, and saying that we have to learn few things online, but most of the things that we have learned so far in the physical world should be able to provide us enough material or enough, instruments to be secure and safe online. So let's see if there are any similarities or any differences in the physical world and the online world. So as I said, it's a new world, online world, but we cannot escape it. I mean, whether we are seniors or we are adults or we are kids, nowadays it's impossible to be away from online world, and we just need to know how to operate securely. Some of the points here are very obvious ones. Nowadays, especially during and after COVID pandemic, we are much more dependent on online than ever. Most of our shopping, our food supply, everything is coming through online. Also, as an immigrant, I'm more dependent on online, telephones rather than on the physical phone. I hardly use my landline. I use most of the time WhatsApp, telephones. And all the TV shows I watch mostly online. I don't have any cable. Maybe you guys still have some cable, or you just watch the basic TV. But I watch most of my TV on online. So these are some of the things that we are doing right now. Nobody can live offline. So as I was saying that the whole hypothesis of this presentation is that whatever we learned in the physical security as a kid, if we translate it into online environment, we should be able to conduct ourselves in a secured and in a safe manner. And my theory is that whatever my grandmother taught me, and I'm sure you guys also must have had the similar, sayings or similar grandmother's advices that said how to be safe when we go out in the world. So I have got few of my, whatever I can recollect from my childhood, some of the teachings that my grandmother and my parents gave me. Don't talk to strangers. I mean, this is very obvious one. Don't open door for strangers. Don't eat any food given by strangers, and so on. So I have collected about 12 or 13 of these, and I'm trying to translate them into the online world and see how they translate. So it is just a, my attempt. You can have a different interpretation, but let me just go through this table quickly. That's my interpretation of my grandmother's advice. Don't talk to strangers means that don't trust anyone or anybody online unless authenticated. So this is very important for me, this piece authentication, which means that if I'm saying that I'm Sanjay, how do you authenticate me and make sure that I'm Sanjay? So one quick way could be that if you're online, you can just go on social media and check Sanjay Mathur. There could be plenty of Sanjay Mathurs, but then you can correlate my picture with me or my credit record with me and say, oh yeah, this guy looks like, what he's saying is correct. So authentication means that just check what the person is saying, whether it's correct or not. It's the same thing as Red Riding Hood, could have authenticated the fox or whatever that feature was. So don't open the doors for strangers can translate into don't click on the link sent by unknown persons. As a matter of principle, I never click on any link which is sent to me unless I do few things, and we'll go through in the presentation what are those things. Don't eat any food given by strangers. Nowadays, all the spammers and ransomware, artists, they lure you with something that they are giving, and that could be something like good old, if you see this cartoon on the right hand side, this is what we were told that if a stranger is giving you a toffee or a candy, they may have some ulterior motive, so be careful. If you are in trouble, go to your teacher or a person in uniform. This is very important that if in case you think that you have been spammed or you are a victim of ransomware or something bad has happened to you online, what should you do? And I have got this website on the right hand side of my slide, which says ic3.gov. This is an authenticated website, which is Internet Crime Prevention. And this website is full of information. It is also can be used if you are a victim to launch a complaint or launch a investigation. And there is a whole load of information which is there, which you can use for your online safety and security. So just remember ic3.gov. It's a small name for a website, easy to remember, and very effective place. I would highly recommend, if you have not been to this site, please visit this site. And if you are outside the US, then there are other similar sites. Like I know for India, there is a cyber cell. There are also local school administration. There could be Federal Trade Commission site where you can get some information. So just be aware where you can get information. Keep your ticket and money safe. It is basically don't buy or do trade on the sites which are unknown. So for me, known site is the site which I know the brand name. I can check it. I can be sure that it's the site which I'm going to. Like for example, Costco.com or Amazon.com, Target.com. I mean, these are some of the sites which I am sure that if I'm going there, that site is not being spoofed, and I'm going to the right side. And there are some ways we will discuss how to find out whether the site is official, authenticated or not. But the point is that you should only buy stuff from the known sites. There are thousands and millions of e-commerce, and most of them are good. I'm not saying that they are all are spammed or bad sites, but you have to be careful from where you're buying stuff. Keep your keys safe, keep your password, your digital identity, which is very important, your social security number, your credit card numbers, to be safe and private. And when I say private, it means that you should not give your digital identity to anybody that you don't trust. And if you are giving this, you have to make a note of it and make sure that you know where all you have used your social security number or your credit card number and so on. When you come back, you tell me what you did in the school. This is what my grandmother used to ask me all the time. And this is basically translates into the modern time is that if there is any log of your activities, you should look at the log. You should be careful about your credit history, your online reputation, and there are ways and means of checking these. So just be aware what is happening on internet. So when we say that the internet is like the physical world, it means that we have got a secure place, which is home, and then we have got outside world, which is basically streets and cities and so on. So, by the same token, we have got our computing environment, our laptop or our mobile device, and we have got routers or any kind of connectivity through which we connect to internet. Most of us have got a router at home, and we have got a Wi-Fi router basically, and or you may have a network router, which is the older one, or you may not have anything and you just have the mobile phone and you have got your 3G, 4G, 5G, and you connect through that. But the point is that that becomes your gateway. That's the threshold or the means by which you connect to the online world. So the security of that device or that gateway is very important. So if you have a router or Wi-Fi, you should be careful about the security of that. And if you are going through your mobile, then you should know how to be secure on the mobile. So let's see, if you have got a router and Wi-Fi, as the dictum says, that don't leave the front door open, which means that your router should be not open. So which means that nobody should be able to log in from outside. So all the router is a device and it has got a user ID and password. And unlike any other equipment that you buy from outside, this one requires some configuration. It requires that you should give your administrator's name and your own password once you start using it. If you have not done that, then you are using the factory default, which means that everybody knows what is the user ID and what's the password. And then somebody might be able to log in there. And if they can log in, then they can change it and they can do some harm to you. So this is like leaving your main door open. You have to close it. And using the strong password is always recommended. It is difficult for people to crack. And using the protocol is the method by which you connect to internet. And that protocol has to be the latest one because the earlier protocols have been compromised. So without going into technical details, this WPA3 or WPA2, these are the two safe protocols. So if you have got any method by which you can check that what kind of protocol your router is using, it is recommended that you use by WPA2 and 3, highly recommended. Otherwise, you are running a risk of that somebody might be able to crack the method by which you are connecting. And this last point is that your router can be accessed remotely, which means that if I am not even there where your router is, if you have that capability open to your router that anybody can remotely log in, I should be able to log in from remote. And if you don't want that feature, there is a very simple switch. You can go to your settings of your router and say, I don't want remote connectivity. In that way, your gateway is closed and it's also locked. Nobody should be able to log in. And if your provider or if your supplier wants to log in remotely, then you can always open it. So these are some of the tips that are there, very basic ones. But if you do that, at least your router and Wi-Fi connectivity would be somewhat secure. There are other things that you should be careful, but these are the basic things. Going to the mobile security, we all are using mobile devices, mobile, iPad, iPod, so many other things, so many gadgets. And the thing to understand is that it is almost like a computer, which has got your data, a lot of information. It has got a lot of computing power. access to your photos, access to, you may have stored some passwords and so on. So it's a device which is maybe more powerful than the yesteryear's computers. When I started my career, the computers were much simpler and very basic compared to today's mobile devices. So the intent of this slide is to tell you that your phone is, and you know it probably, that your phone is much, much more than phone itself. Phone is just one function, but you are basically carrying a computer with a lot of data around. And it's a small device, so chances of losing it are very high. So the recommendation there is to treat it like a computer. So there are some basic things about the mobile computing security. There's very easy way to find out whether your phone is up to date or not. Nowadays, Apple and Android, they have this automatic upgrade facility where they will upgrade the version without you having to do that. And maybe you have already switched it on. If not, then you have to make sure that your version of your software is latest. Why it is important from security perspective is that there are new threats coming in the marketplace. People are trying different ways to attack you. And I mean, when I say you, meaning everybody, me, you, everybody included. And and that's why they need to upgrade the software to make sure that your version is secure. Security is not the only reason why they upgrade it. There are some functionality reason why they upgrade. But most of the time, the later version of a software is more secure. This is by design, more secure than the earlier version. So you should be able to reap the benefit of the newer version or the latest version by having the auto update facility. And you have to find out whether your mobile device is traceable or not, which means that if you lose the device, you should be able to trace it where it is. And there's a function which you can use to make sure that depending upon your phone, brand and the type of phone, but it's very easy. It's just a switch. You say it's traceable. Then there you will be able to find out where your phone is in case you lose it. And there is also a facility, you may already know, that you can remotely wipe your phone, which means that all the data which is there on the phone, your sensitive data, maybe you have got some information about yourself or your photographs or any sensitive information, you should be able to wipe it remotely if in case you lose it, so that the person who finds it should not be able to misuse the information. And if it is password protected, that's the first level of defense. And when we talk about security, we are always talking about security in depth, which means that you should have more than one barriers in front of the bad person, which means that your phone should be password protected. It should have the latest software. You should have capability to wipe data off, and you should be able to make sure that all the applications, everything that you are downloading on your phone is only from authenticated and secure source. It's extremely important not to download or get the applications from an unauthorized or unauthenticated place. I never get a application which is not in the App Store. At least I have got one level of validation. I cannot be 100% sure that all the applications which are there in the App Store, Apple App Store, are secure. But at least I have got one level of. So I've got a question. Janet is asking, how do you wipe data on your phone remotely? So there is a facility in the phone, and if you see I use iPhone. So if you see the settings of iPhone, you can see that there is an option there which says that you want to remote. You can or you want to wipe the data remotely. So if you go to the setting, you will see that. I don't know which phone you are using, but depending upon your phone, if you go to the setting, you should be able to find that option. If you can't find it, what I suggest is that you go to your provider, AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or whatever, and ask them how to do that. And they are obliged to make sure that you understand where this option is and how to make it on. Okay, so enough of mobile security, but I think this is something that is very important. Mobile phone, you have got your provider, which could be your AT&T or your Sprint or any those people, and your make of the phone, which could be Apple, Android, or any other Google device, and you have to make sure that you have a good relations with your provider, and you are getting all the latest security updates, and you understand from where where the data is going, where the data is stored, whether it's in the cloud or on the mobile phone, and so on. So browsing safely, browsing is very similar to going to a marketplace and basically doing browsing. So there are websites. You are the whole internet is based on World Wide Web, and you are doing browsing. So you are going to a site, you are doing browsing. Somebody asking you to go to a site, which is almost the same thing as say, me advising you to go to and buy this thing from a particular store. So you go to that store, and you have got a link which you click and you go to the site. So we are browsing constantly, but we are going to sites, and sites are sites. I mean, they are every second there are new sites coming in this marketplace, and they are good sites, they are bad sites. There could be more bad sites, in a particular area, and there could be more good sites. The point here is that unless you know how to identify whether it's a good site or not, you run a chance or a risk of going to a site which you are not supposed to go, or which has got a bad intention, or which has got some bad reputation, or it is doing business which is not desirable or unethical or maybe illegal. So you have to find out where you are going. Now, another question, Judy is asking, how do you stop broadcasting your phone? And this is, so broadcasting is basically, the idea here is that all these devices are Bluetooth devices. And we use Bluetooth to share information, download photographs, share photographs, and so on. And it's also you can use speakers to connect to your device using Bluetooth. So it's a very good feature. But if you're not using it, you just go to your settings again and say, I don't want to use Bluetooth. And your phone is not broadcasting that, I'm here, connect to me. So you will not be connected to any device or any hacker who is just sitting there on the side trying to find out if your phone can be connected through his device. So inadvertently, you may connect to somebody who has got bad intention. So if you are switching off your Bluetooth, you should be, your phone is not broadcasting itself. And so you should not be able to, I mean, nobody should be able to connect to your phone. So that's the idea. And again, it's a switch selectable thing. You can go to a setting and say, I don't want to use the Bluetooth. And when you want to use the Bluetooth, you can say, switch it on. That way your phone is not, constantly trying to connect to the devices, which I don't think, unless you require, you should keep it on, because it's an insecure thing. So going back to the websites, if you doubt that your website that you have gone is a bad website, there are ways to find out the reputation. And this may be a little bit more involved. You may have to go to a particular site like trendmicro.com. I use this site because I use their antivirus. So I go to their site and I give the site name and see the site reputation. On the right-hand side, you can see that I have put my own website, which is frictionlesssecurity.com, which is my consulting company. I have just put this the name there on that site, which is trendmicro.com. And I'm looking at the result saying that, yeah, it is, there is no known threats there. It is as safe as it could be. And which means that it doesn't mean that this 100% secure seal of authenticity, but it means that they have not found anything bad about this site. So so if you are in doubt, you can go to these kind of sites and check the reputation of the site. I recommend, if you do any e-commerce, any trading, any kind of financial transaction, any health related issues, anything that is sensitive information, you should always check the reputation of the site to make sure that you are not giving your data to a site which is bad. By bad, I mean, again, bad intention, unethical, illegal, and so on. There are advanced features. I don't think we should discuss that, but I'll leave these slides with you so you can always go through it and you can see what else you can do with browsing safely. Another thing is the email security. We all are using emails, and here the basic rule, I would say, or rule or other, guidance is that if you think something is wrong in email, probably it is. So be very skeptical. I'm not asking you to become whimsical or be paranoid, but be very alert. And trust is not a control, we say in our security world. We say that trust is not a control because you may think that you are trusting something or somebody, but the basis of trust that you are using in your mind, it could be intuitive, but whatever you are using, may not have the right parameters, or it may be based on something which is not true. So we always say trust but verify. So we live in the world where we say that online we don't trust anybody unless we authenticate, unless we make sure. So if you think that there is a spam, probably it's a spam. So let me just quickly go to this thing, how to spot a spam. Now this is an example for my life. So I knew this lady, Helen Mack. She used to live in UK at that time. And I got a mail from her. And the mail was very strange because I had a professional relationship with Helen. And she would never call me my dear, but it said my dear, and then say how you are doing today. I mean, this tone was alarming to me. And then I saw the email address, which was not known to me, which was from where this email was coming. And moreover, the email that Helen is asking me to respond is different than the email which was from where it was sent. And so it was a spam, loud and clear. And all I had to do was to pick up the phone and call Helen and say, Helen, did you send me a mail, via this Gmail account? And she said, I did not. And so clearly this was a trap set by somebody, knowing that I know Helen. And I know that she is outside US, and she, I could have become, a victim of this if I was not vigilant. So the whole point is that look at this, and if you think that something is wrong, probably something is wrong. And this is a very obvious spam. Nowadays, nobody does this. This is probably a few years back, 2014. So this is a very bad spam. But then there are some good spams. And this is a phishing email that all the students, PhD students, got in the Cornell University, and this was a tech support scam. And tech support scam is, by the way, is growing very, very fast. And unfortunately, most of this tech support scam is coming from India, the country I was born, and I'm not proud of it. But it is very sad that it's happening. I was listening to a program. It says that about $1 billion was swindled last year by the scammers, mostly originating from India, unfortunately. But this type of spam is growing. And this is a tech support scam. You may get some problem on your screen, and there could be a help button there. You click on the button, you are routed to a different site. That site says that they are experts, they are authorized Microsoft vendors. You talk to them, they take control of your machine, and from there on, they do whatever they can do. So be very careful about this tech support scam. And there are ways to find out whether it's all. So unless you are calling the tech support, if you are 100% sure that you are going to the Microsoft or Apple or website, don't come into the trap. And sometimes people call you and say that your machine is behaving very badly. Is it the case? And you say, yeah, it's the case. Just give us the control. We'll make it run better. The moment you do that, then you are in the trap. So this is another scam which was apparently coming from yahoo.com. This guy Manjeet Singh is asking. He's a friend of mine, and I just got a call from him saying that he's under duress and traveling. And I mean, this was very common about 5 years back. Nowadays nobody does that, or maybe they are less. But you have to check the message out of band. When I say out of band, this is the way we check the authenticity by calling not on the same channel where we are getting for in this example, we are getting an email and I'm not checking by email because this email may be spoofed. So I am picking up the phone and calling him, or I can do some other methods by making sure that this guy has called me. So these are some of the basic precautions that you don't just get. If somebody says that your spouse is in the hospital, don't just get don't act instantly. First check and be sure that this information is correct. So in nutshell, yeah, you have to make sure that nobody is camouflaging their name or spoofing the website or making and then make sure that whatever they are saying, that who they are, what they would do, you have a way of finding it out. And don't come in the trap of the sweet talk. And also one type of scam I want to warn here is that first they give you something, and so a friend of mine got a call saying that they are calling from the credit card company, and the lady asked this guy to check a particular transaction and saying you have overpaid $100. And in Indian culture, if you are aware, we call elders uncle. So this girl was calling him uncle, and she became very friendly. And after a while, she was such a nice girl that they asked where she is from, and she told that she is very close to where these guys are originally, and so on. So, in cut the long story short, they started believing her, and then she made sure that they got $100 or $200, whatever the money back. And then again, next time she called and she said, this time you have overpaid $500, and I need some more information from you. And this time she took the credit card number, their social security number, and so on. And their digital identity was stolen. And unfortunately, they had to fight for 6 months to get back their identity. So don't come in the trap of sweet talk or get lured by the candy. I think I am running over in terms of time. So I should wrap up my presentation. Tina, should I wrap it up, or I can go 2-3 minutes more?
Yes, you have actually 15 more minutes. It ends at 3.
Oh, I do?
Yep. Yes.
Okay, great. So I can continue. Okay. So this I've already covered. Don't click, don't double click, or don't click on any site unless these 3 things: the link is safe, sent by somebody you trust, and you are verified that it is sent by the same person that you trust. So there are 3 things. And you have to go in this sequence to make sure that the link is safe, and you make sure that it's sent by somebody whom you trust, and also verify that the same person who is claiming, because you may trust the person, but this person may be different. So you have to make sure these 3 things are there, and then you are somewhat sure that you are talking to the right person. Now, this kind of screen is there when your machine is taken over by any ransomware software. And the ransomware is a kind of a bait that you get on your computer, and then it kind of goes inside the computer, infects it, and then takes over the hard disk. So basically, what it does is it encrypts the hard disk, and you don't have the key. So these the bad people have the key, and so in other words, they are once they occupy your machine, they are custodian of the data. They have encrypted it. They can also steal it, and so on. And all you get is this kind of screen which says that unless you pay us, you won't get the money back. Now the problem here is that your data has been compromised, and unless you have got the data backup, your data is in their possession. And once you get this kind of a screen, your data has been at least exposed to them. If nothing else, your data has been exposed. So at least that much has happened. Now, even if you give them money, these bad people, you're not sure whether they will give you the key, unencrypt the data. They might have exported the data to some site, and they might already be selling it. So my suggestion is that you go to this IC3.gov site that I discussed earlier and report it, because these people have ways and means to find out who these people are. They can put a trace. They can also investigate. They can do the fraud investigation. They can also have the forensic capabilities, and they can. There is a chance that you may find out who who are the people who have made that.
Sanjay, what is the site again that we go to if we see this? What is the site we would?
Yeah, it was on the slide, earlier slide, IC3. So I can show you if I can show my screen. Can you see the?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, so this is the site.
IC3. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So
got it.
this is the site, and it has got you can file a complaint. This is the one where you can file the complaint.
Okay.
You can submit a complaint to Internet Crime Complaint IC3. You can submit a suspected terrorism or threat complaint FBI, or you can go to National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. This is for child exploitation, and then this site has got a lot of consumer alerts, industry alerts, industry specific alerts, and a whole lot of information about ransomware. So it's a pretty good site and authentic site. You can see the government seal here. So any information which is here is very authentic. And one area which I want to highlight is this elder fraud. Now, since we are in this age where we are either elder, we are called elders or seniors or whatever, we are not more gullible than anybody else in this world. But there are few things about us. We are more, generally there are more loneliness in our lives because our kids are all grown. They have got their own places. There are very few people that we can discuss and verify if we are in trouble. So these scammers know about it. They know our profile. They know that we have got our retirement, nest egg, which is there. So there are certain profiles that they use, and this information which is here, elder fraud, is very, very useful. I would say that you go to these links, click, and go through it. Some of these are very easy readings. Some of them are more tougher. But how to protect yourself? This is the guideline. Most of my data that I use in any presentation is based on the advice that I get from these agencies, like Internet Crime Complaint Center or Fed or local governments. So all this is, and you can get some data that over 60 victims reporting to IC3. What is the trend which is going on? And one thing which is heartening to me to see that there is some decline here, which means that adults or elders are getting more educated or more aware or more whatever. I don't know the reason for this, but this is a happy sign, and so on. And so the whole thing is that this site is very rich and it has got almost all the aspects that I am talking about today. So just note this down. It's very simple, ic3.gov. Okay. Now, the last topic that I have got is the social media safety. And we all are, using social media. It is very good in the sense that it gives us the connectivity. We are able to do socializing. I'm able to do this Zoom session without having to be in front of you. So, I mean, social media and also the online connectivity is a good thing. But we have to be careful because there is no free lunch. And most of these things, whether it's Google search, whether it's Facebook or it is LinkedIn or any of the social media, it's free to us. But think about it, that somebody is providing this kind of global service where if I post anything, thousands of miles away, it is updated instantly. There has to be infrastructure, there has to be some investment, which is there. So somebody is doing that, so it's not free. And the basic rule is that if you want anything to be free, then be sure that you are the product, which means that somebody is taking advantage of you. So be careful what you post on social media. Be also careful that whatever you do on social media can be used against you, in the sense that it can be used to crack your passwords, for example. It can be used to steal the data that slowly somebody might be building a profile that you are, whatever you do. We all do online searches. And when we search something, somebody else is also watching. if we are not searching, in a private mode. And by the way, you can go to your browser and you can do all your searches in incognito mode, which means that nobody can find out what you are searching. I use DuckDuckGo, which is a browser. And when I browse, then my activities are not shared on internet. So people are not all the e-commerce people or any kind of marketing people are not tracing it, or any bad guy who wants to know where I am, those kind of things. These are some of the guidelines which are on the screen right now, which I use to be safe online. And these are some general advice you might already have seen or known them. But I use strong password. And this is generally nowadays they're asking for strong passwords, and I know it's a pain. Password is a pain, and also to remember those it's very difficult. But I have got my way to store and remember. I never store password in clear text. I mean, it's not advisable. I also use a theme that I can recollect to. Generally, I use some songs and stuff to construct my password. I don't use one pass. Some people do. It's a good way of putting all your password in a vault and then use a strong password to access that. Some people use Google or Apple password vaults, and that's good, secure enough. But I don't. For my own personal reasons. But if you are using it, you're fine. I mean, don't fret too much. Oh, okay. So Ruth is asking that what is the incognito search engine you use? So I use DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo, DuckDuckGo.com. It's a very popular browser. It's like Safari or like Google. The only difference is that whatever I search on this particular browser, nobody else can see. So it's incognito. And also you can make your Chrome or your Safari in incognito mode. So you can just go there in the setting and say that I want to be in the private mode, and you can do that. But I trust personal. This is a personal preference. I trust DuckDuckGo more, and I use it. So you can use that.
Sanjay, I have a question. Is there any way you can show us how do you do incognito mode in Safari and Chrome?
I will try to show it to you. Let's see.
I think most people use Safari or Chrome.
Right. So first of all, if you go here, and if you say DuckDuckGo, just say DuckDuckGo, and you can see that there's this DuckDuckGo. This duck is there.
Okay.
So if you go here, this is my browser, which says that avoiding the filter bubble of personalized search results does not show search results from content farm. So which means that this engine is designed in such a way that it runs incognito. Nobody can see what I'm searching for. So if I go here, whatever I search here, it says tired of being tracked online, we can help. So now if I search any site, if I say that go to whatever, go to some, so I go to India, nobody knows that I'm searching India. As simple as that. So, but if you want to know where the setting is, it could be depending upon your browser. If you go to your setting.
Oh, okay.
Then you can say privacy and security. And you can do a whole lot of stuff here. So you can say that, first of all, if you have got collected some browsing data, which means that my browsing history or something, all the cookies, and cookies is something that if you come to my website, I have to leave a marker or something there so that when you next time come, I have the context. So the way the browsers are plainly browsing. It's like going to a library and just flipping the pages. But next time when I go, I don't know how many pages I have flipped unless there is a marker there. So if I put a marker there, then next time when I go, I know that I have read 41 pages and I have to be on the 42nd page. So the cookies are used for that purpose. There are other purposes, but this was the main purpose for which the cookies were used. But over the time, you may collect a lot of cookies. Some are good cookies, some are desirable, some are not so desirable. So you may delete all that data. Also, the privacy guide. So it's not only that you can run incognito mode. There are a whole lot of privacy choices which are there. So this is again depending upon which browser you are using. There is guidance and there are settings, and you can go there and you can do that. But we can do a half a day session where we can go through the kind of exercises and make sure that we all know what are the options there and how to exercise those options. But this is another question which Judy is asking: does DuckDuckGo keep your search history? Now, the promise given to from DuckDuckGo to us is that they are not keeping any history. Now, if for any reason they are keeping it, at least they are not making it public. That much assurance is there. But again, that for some technical reason, they might be keeping the history within themselves in a secure manner. That's how I understand their promise. So it is as good as it can get, that kind of thing. You can never be 100% sure.
Right, sure.
So even the best of the companies sometimes have ulterior motive or things which are running in the background and so on. But at least they are not sharing it with other people. So yeah, so I mean, we have talked about it. Don't click on links without checking. Take regular backup of data. So I always take the backup. So at least I have got my data with me. Have insured my data. So I have got some services where my credit card credentials and identity is kind of is insured. So if something happens to my digital identity, I should be able to claim some financial compensation. I also always encrypt my laptop. It's easy to do that nowadays. And any USB drive which I use, I also encrypt it. As I said, I don't trust anybody online without verifying, and I don't install unauthorized applications. So these are some of the precautions that I take online, and I recommend that all of you should also be. So the Maureen is asking, aren't some search engines better than others? Yeah, sure. Does the DuckDuckGo have access to as much information as Google? They do. I mean, when you do browsing, you are basically giving your. So one thing about browsing is that what I am giving, not only I'm telling my browser where I'm going, also I'm telling my browser my preferences, my likes and dislikes, who am I, and so on. So I may think that I am X kind of person, but if you analyze my search, you may find that I am Y kind of person. So what's happening is that of course, these search engines have got a lot of information about us, much more information than we are willingly giving to social media, much more, believe me, because when we search, our true self comes out. So they have a lot of information. Now the point is that you have to trust the browser that they will keep your information secure, private, and confidential. I mean, this is some three very basic asks that a consumer or a user can have from the browsers. Now, there are some better engines, some worse engines, of course, yes. But the point is that, you have to trust somebody somewhere. So I have got my ways and means of, finding out whom to trust, whom not to trust. And it's based on my preferences also. So I trust people. You have to, in order for you to operate in this world, you have to trust somebody. All you can do is do validation, verification, and that's about it. And end of the day, it's a leap of faith. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there are better search engines, there are worse search engines, and again, we have, as consumers, we have to be careful. Can we get the copy of the slide? Joanne is asking, and yes, of course. I went too fast. That's my problem. I always speak fast when I am involved. So I can send you the slides. Also, towards the end, I hope I have got my email ID and so on. So you can always contact me. And so somebody is saying conquer the slides will, yeah. Randall is saying, if I visit an unfamiliar website, is accepting cookie a security risk? Yes, it is. So, first of all, going to a website which is not known to you, there has to be a reason for you to go there. And once you are there, you have to be careful. And then later on, there are methods of making sure that you are not leaving anything there. They are not leaving anything undesirable on your machine. But the point is that, yeah, it's a security risk. To answer your question, yes, it's a security risk. Now, these are some of the slides I just have. These are posters that I use for any security awareness program. So if you look at it, Khalil Gibran, who was a great thinker, he said, if you reveal your secrets to the wind, you should not blame the wind for revealing them to the trees. Which means that you keep your secrets to yourself, which is applicable to passwords, basically. And this is a defense security service. I'm not saying it. This is the DSS which is saying it. Always use how to guess passwords. So here we have got a crocodile and a swimming, tub. And these are two uncorrelated, objects, and somebody is constructing a password out of those, which becomes difficult for somebody to guess. So important message here is your password should be hard to guess, and it should be used only like bubble gums. So it is strongest when it's fresh, so you have to change it constantly, and making sure that your passwords are not shared. If you leave them somewhere, they will create a sticky mess. So don't write it down on your computer and so on. And if you have to note it down, note it in such a way that only you understand it, nobody else can interpret it. So these are some of the thoughts that I wanted to share. And if you've got any questions, you can always ask me later on. But this is what I want to share.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. If you can share the deck to me, I can share to everybody that register, and can I have your permission to share your email to everybody?
Yes, please do that.
Okay, yeah. Great. Thank you, Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, be secure, safe. Yeah, bye-bye.